Alienware, Betway, Logitech G, and Pay Safeguard.
What a close call. North starting oh so strong on Mirage, and yet things start to tumble and show a little bit of a weak spot perhaps in the Danes, or is it the strong spot in the South Americans? I do have none other than YNK and the delightful Thorin hanging out with me to break down that first map of our third day. Now, I thought this was going to be an open and shut case. We were basically putting our shirts on and starting to walk out here as that pistol round was won, Duncan. 13-3.
Yes.
Is this North just kind of showing us that just how inexperienced they can be in pressure scenarios, or is it more to be MIBR?
They have been known to be somewhat weak on the CT side of this map. I mean, this is one of the ones where MSL is trying to, as you see, sometimes be a secondary opera over at the B site. They have their flaws there. It is a map where you can force isolation against the bad player sometimes. It's also a battle of the bad CT sides from both teams, though. I mean, both actually have had their flaws here, although it's worth pointing out, just as a narrative for MIBR generally, in theory, Fallen now calls on all the maps. Like, you know, that is one of the things where one of the reasons they were struggling so much before was it took Cold Zero out of it, that he was the guy calling as well as trying to play. So I do think on the T side that actually MSL did a pretty good half here. It seemed like he had good control the whole time, never had to do any kind of panic move because everything he was trying was working. They generally had a good read on the game. But I think on the CT side, you saw that the North players, they don't really have that strong a team in terms of raw firepower for me.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the players that stood out to me was this Mertz character.
He had a very good game, yeah.
He's an AWPer that I don't think everyone's convinced by yet. But, you know, perhaps, are you starting to see more consistency, Yankee? Are you starting to giving him a bit more credit?
Yeah, I wasn't convinced by him early on. I was calling him out because you could tell coming from the tier 2, tier 3 scene, right? He was going for some plays that just can't work against, you know, tier 1 players and teams. And he made the adjustment over the last couple of months, and he has been much better, you know, in the last month or two with his team at events, had more impact, wasn't, you know, missing as many shots or wasn't giving away as many kills, really, in a sense of overextending and things like that. And he was definitely the deciding factor here. Have to remember that clutch in the first half. That's the thing, like, I don't think necessarily SK CT side was that bad. It was in the start of the first half, but after that, they were losing some clutches on top of it.
Now, Duncan already said it before, but MSL's leading on that T-half was, you know, rewarding and, of course, looked good. Now, I think you have something to demonstrate regarding that start.
Yes, I do. And it's not just about the calls, it's about the whole force buying and the dynamics of force buying and how it can influence rounds after the round where you force buy and lose. So this is the first gun round. Obviously, you need to keep an eye out on the utility to start things off. So they have a smoke and an HE, 2 smokes, 2 HEs, nothing on Fallen, only a smoke on Cold Zero and a flash on Fur. That's the whole utility that MIBR has coming into the first gun round. So after that, because of the saved SMGs from North, they are going to go for that fast B execute, almost a B rush that we see a lot of teams do. And you keep an eye out on Bolts and Cold. Something you have to realize straight away, Cold is already in ladder room without first seeing anyone really on mid. You can see that he is looking from connector towards top mid. So Bolts is all by himself with a smoke and an HE grenade. That's all he has to defend against this rush. You can see he's chased away. They have such bad timing that he doesn't even realize that the player has gone all the way around the bomb site, and they simply just get destroyed. They have no way of doing anything. If anything Bolts could have done here, is he should have used probably that one smoke that he had and did what Stico does and put the smoke down right here between the van, and then focus his POV towards Cat, because no one is really going to push you through the smoke, and that way you can try and at least get a kill. And that's pretty much round over. MIBR is forced to save. After that, what does North do? They do the exact same thing. They have saved guns. They don't have ideal utility. Let's just try for it. Again, it worked great. It's one of those things where in-game leaders sometimes they call it until you can stop it, right? And here you can see how it looks like from the POV of Kirby, because he's the first guy going in and MSL is usually the second guy, while the rest of the team is throwing all the utility over at the same time. And this is where Bolt tries to play even closer, but he's still alone. I mean, he gets one kill, gets immediately traded. coldzera is cut off from the side. And I think a great way to see what exactly happens will be this overview from the previous round, because it does look a bit better. And you will see what North does here. Basically, they have this wall of smoke. So if a player is all the way up cat, like coldzera usually is, there's really nothing he can do to support bolts. And they just have really good flight paths around the site, while players are also pushing in from all directions. So it's very easy in that sense for North to get trade kills and to take control of the site.
Gorgeous. Love it. I love seeing these flight paths as well. Something that you don't necessarily know unless you're talking to the players personally, or of course, you've got eyes like Yanko, but just to see the clear direction that the players have been given prior to that round, it's really quite satisfying to watch.
It's very important because Henry talked about it in the cast, you know, and I think it's a good way to actually show it for the viewers what it means when he's just talking about it. Like, you don't have the utility to stop that rush. You know, you've done nothing. And North, on the other side of things, they've ecoed a lot more. So even in some of the gun rounds that they won in the second half, it was thanks to the utility they had because of the hard eco.
Yeah, and before we start talking about Overpass, we actually have a nice and rather relevant opportunity to hear what some players were saying about team communication. Bearing in mind, MIBR have just made one of the most drastic language-related Counter-Strike changes by bringing in Stewie and changing their smooth Brazilian Portuguese gameplay into now trying to communicate in English. Let's check it out.
Not talking in our native language is, for me, it was really hard when I joined the team because I didn't know the English at the start, and the way I learned English was just through the game, so that helped me a lot.
A lot of teams have changed their communication style by going to a national style team, like Mouse Sports or FaZe or even SK when they got Stewie. I think it matters a lot if you have like a full nationality lineup and they change one player. I think it's important to be on the same page for sure.
You need it in like every single scenario, whether you're dead in that round or alive, because even being dead, you can still help your team win the round.
So actually for Singapore, the national language is English, but we have Winter, who's a Kazakhstani. For the team, other than Winter, it's really okay.
Everybody knew now English. If we'll talk about international teams, we can understand they have a problem with communication.
For me personally, it was very hard because I'm coming from Slovakia. I was born as Hungarian, so I spoke Hungarian. I had to learn Slovak. From Slovak, I had to learn Russian to play for Navi. And from Russian, I came to English-speaking team, so it was pretty chaotic from the beginning. I mean, it's nice to know languages, but for the communication, I still have some issues.
Call stuff on the fly rather than having like a set strat. For example, like he just jumped out windows, one to the right, two to the left, and then you have like all these little call-outs. I think it's so hard to be able to like do that. I can't imagine it.
The main problem is when you have like to fix and adjust your team, you have like 2 seconds to explain a situation. Sometimes it's a problem for me and for my teammates, but I mean, like, it's our job, so you have to get used to, and we need more time to get like better in English communication.
I don't think it's a big problematic thing. It just take a little bit time for teams who hasn't done it before.
It's funny to say because we changed our language to English instead of German. We lacking the most communication now because of the change. Doesn't mean it's not important. It's like maybe one of the most important things in the team.
It's a process, so we got used to it now, and it's not really a problem nowadays, but it gets pretty difficult when things are really chaotic and you need to speak fast, and that's when things kind of get hard for us.
I think that's the biggest difference is actually the small things in key rounds, and just an advantage to speak your own language in some ways.
Actually, I had only one time experience when I had teammate with other language. It was really difficult, and I think communication is the key of success.
Communication the key to success, and Made in Brazil changed their language and currently stand at a 0-1 deficit. They are in trouble. We haven't got time for this. Anyway, let's start talking about Overpass. My first question.
Like, he's gonna be on camera soon enough. He's just
desperate.
So keen.
It's the only thing that keeps him alive.
So thirsty for attention.
Duncan, my question to you is:
yes.
Both of you were mouths agape when you saw Overpass coming in as the second map. Why is that?
It just has not been a map that has been kind to SK for a long time. Even when they were the mighty SK of last year and they were winning all those tournaments, oftentimes it was over factors like they just happened to have a good matchup stylistically against FaZe. They weren't necessarily the best team in the world on Overpass even then. ever since they came to this year, it has abandoned them completely. It's been a really woeful map. One thing I will say, though, that might actually be a redeeming factor is, again, this is where it's going to be relevant, that you have Fallen calling again, because this was another map that was a really, really bad time for them when they had Cold Zero calling, and we saw some games, for example, against Na'Vi that were just absolutely dreadful on their T side.
And you let out a little chuckle when you saw it, Janko. Made in Brazil, drafting, choosing actively to play Overpass.
Yeah, I thought Inferno was a sure pick, you know, but you get it as a third map, but still, are you going to get to that third map now? If Overpass was the third, it would be a different story. Problem is, they have only won this map once online with this roster, and that's against Hellraisers at the tournament in Portugal. I mean, they've been losing it to FaZe, they lost it to Greyhound, they lost it to Na'Vi, you know, all these different teams. While, sure, for North, it's not impressive either. They played it 11 times, won 5, lost 6, but still there's more games being played, there's even more wins there, so I'm not really sure what they were aiming at exactly. Yeah, maybe from the Portuguese tournament until now, they put more work on the map and they are more practiced. That's definitely a possibility, but I was just surprised by that particular decision.
Yeah, and so now it's time to start gauging expectations. What are you genuinely starting to, what's your brain telling you? Not your heart, Duncan, what's your brain?
So I don't know if North actually can win 2-0 in as much as North themselves, as you even saw in that first map, they're not exactly the best team at closing out. Like, they tend to have a lot of scrappy games no matter how well they do themselves. So on that kind of logic, I wouldn't say they would 2-0, but I do actually think on this map they will be favored. I think actually they're fairly comfortable. They're always practicing it. It's never out of their pool. So I think it's more on SK. SK has to show me something I haven't seen so far. And I have to say, I think even the pick suggests that in their own minds, maybe they're coming in as an underdog. They feel like. So I think if you felt like you were the best team, you'd just pick the map you wanted for comfort.
Absolutely. And your final thoughts then, Janko? Does that sound about right to you?
Yeah, I think we're going to equalize because I don't think North can win as many clutches 2 maps in a row.
Let's see if we get to see a third map, or will MIBR not even see the arena? Back over to your casters as we divulge another game of Counter-Strike.
Indeed. Listen, I get what they're saying. They haven't had great success on this map as a team. I always think the in-game leader needs to make the executive decision, and if it's a matter of not having the time to practice it and really verse it with this roster, that's fine. But to completely abandon a map, and SK was guilty of this as well with Dust 2 after the roster changes. They got 16-0 by Fnatic way back in 2016, and they never went back to it. I think if there's still philosophy in your in-game leader's mindset toward the map, you can work yourself into being a good team on the map still. It just takes, and the key factor is time. So maybe they have had that now. Cold will get Valda. It's Mertz to get Bolts to trade off Kjaerbye. We find ourselves in a 3 versus 3 with Mertz on 2 HP. Gives the slight advantage, obviously, as well as they're also on the offense to MIBR.
Mertz tagged up, holding by the bathrooms right now. Not really any presence towards B from North. I think AZ up in heaven, that's about it. So he can transition quickly towards A. Luckily, no one heading towards B just yet. Fallen's got 1 smoke, a couple of flashbangs, killed Zero in the bathrooms, and Fur probing up the long area. 50 seconds remaining. So they have the option of maybe showing their hand towards A and falling back at B and smoking heaven, or they just smoke the CT spawn area, flash over, and try and challenge. Mertz in a 1 and done position because he's got 2 HP. He's coming to get baited in by his teammate. Smoke comes in, Mertz will get dropped, and that's going to be round by the looks of things. Like we said, AZ was all the way over towards heaven in B. So he'll be smoked out. 3 versus 1 as the bomb goes down.
He's pushing back through the smoke. Has no option, has no kit, has no time. He's got to get a kill immediately. Spots up 1, second as well. Good damage in, finds the kill, but Fur wraps in behind him and is easily able to take him down with the Glock. It's now the first round to MIBR.
Definitely is. And like we said, North are always one of those teams that don't seem to force buy too much in the second round. Valda is
proving you wrong.
Going against that straight away, so they are going to be force buying here. And they're going to get Scouts, CZs. Everyone's pretty much gone all in apart from Mertz. So this is a little bit different than we're used to seeing from North. So they've got no nades, no kits, but they have got CZ with a helmet as well. So up against the 3 SMGs, could have a shot at this one. We'll see what happens. Remember, as the analyst pointed out, MIBR got a bit unfortunate at a lot of the clutches in the first map. It was definitely one of the catalysts to their defeat, although they did bring it back quite convincingly to 16-14. No real damage inflicted just yet. Slow take from MIBR, just making sure that no one's pushed middle. Take each area, dissect it, and then presumably finish up towards A. That's where it looks like they're going to try and aim towards right now. MSL's in the connector, Kjaerbye holding in the bathrooms with that CZ.
Fallen with the smoke down is going to try and get some Action toward the bathrooms. It's just a quick little reload as Fallen slides up on the UMP. Was providing the covering fire that they required. The problem is they made noise, but not even considered in front of bathrooms. Fallen nearly goes down for that. I would have expected, although that this is what Bolts was waiting for, they would have at least cleared that position first. But MSL gets Bolts back, and Stewie now has to respond in the fact that he's working in from a MAC-10, and MSL's turned and ready. Dropping down. Oh my goodness.
What's happening? Fallen's low as well. CZ's still potent as ever. MAC-10 wallbang attempt. Going to be ambitious at best as Fur. Will be smoked off. Oh my gosh. That's brave. It works out for him.
I think he expected that he was really weak, which he was. He got tagged by Cold, but yes, that is brave. When you've got an AK going against a pistol in a very tight choke point, the smoke is down. They'll get 2 further kills. That's going to allow for the palm plant. Fallen to put it in place. It's easy. With the scout, will attempt somewhat the impossible. He's already been tagged down to 15, making it even less likely. Cold jump shot lands.
There we go. MIBR do find the 2-0. A little bit dicey, but for assertive through the smoke, they didn't really have much time there either. So that was nice to see him take the reins and force their way in towards B. Bomb went down about 6 seconds on the clock, and Fallen was the one planting on low HP, so it could have fallen apart. Full eco now for North. As Yanko pointed out in the analyst section, money can be a massive issue here, especially if you force buy in those second rounds, and that's when you can be abused. If you know your teammates don't have many grenades, it might change the way you're playing. It might force MIBR to focus on team executions, knowing they won't have incendiaries to run through, etc. First, only got the USB here. That's absolutely fine, considering he's got armor and they haven't. Huge grenade at the start to take MSL and Kiabi down to very low. And that's going to be around pretty much. The bomb going down here. Full 5-man stack towards A from the CTs. And not really much it can do here. Do they just feed the SMGs, or they just hold up and try and look for some exits?
Works up, good finds. Can't find the second. AZ's there on the pistol. It's a headshot in return, and nearly does damage. Well, he did do damage. Nearly got the kill on his Stewie. Kiabi, great headshot, and he's got another one on the Bolts. Once again, this gets desperate for MIBR. Thankfully, the bomb's already down in this case, and they're just going to run and hide with the AK, but certainly causing a massive amount of economic deficit early on.
Absolutely. Well done to Kiabi. Gets himself $600 with the 2 kills. Picks up an AK and a flashbang. But Fallen might be here to spoil all the fun. Oh, not quite. He did spot them, but the AK is saved. So that's going to save Kiabi a ton of money here. He might even consider dropping the AWP. I'm not sure. Not going to happen. Mud's had enough himself. So this means we've got plenty of cash now for drops, and they've actually got some decent utility. So that does definitely help out. We did force when a second you save a weapon like that and get an extra $600. Great stuff. First gun round here, bit of a weird one. Stewie on the MAC-10, Fallen with the UMP. There are 2 players of our helmets on the CT side, so won't be completely useless for them. Orb, though, only available for Mertz, and he was an absolute beast on Mirage. Let's say the absolute MVP of the map. Setting up for some double nades here by the looks of things. There we go. Triple nades, in fact, bit of an airstrike. Nothing connecting, unfortunately.
Bolts and Fallen rotate back around through to spawn. We'll head over toward the fountain and join up with Fur. Mertz still posted out toward long, and that flower pot is yet to be distilled, but discouraged perhaps by the lack of activity. He'll fall back inside of the site and play Parkside. Still a formidable position for an AWP. Flash out. Kiabi takes down Stewie. Mertz still holding, can't Reflector respond to the jump at the flower pot, but again, his teammate already giving him the lead. Doesn't mean he has to do much. He can actually sit back and be complacent somewhat. No need to overextend and get caught out as Bolt still sits. I think he might have just spotted the gun barrel in the bathrooms. 3 players on A already, and with 21 seconds, no choice but to go for MIBR in that position. Smokes down. Mertz is going to try and get very aggressive. We know how aggressive he can be and how quick he is on the no-scopes. Unfortunately, tries to find through smoke. Fur can't do it. Bold is helped out because he's taking down his teammate at MSL. That's going to drop the bomb, however, and that's the round. Surely, they have to get the kill to win it. There's 4 seconds, and they're not on the plant. Oh, they might have just got there. They may have just barely. Oh, I didn't think so. As North get away with one.
That was such an MIBR round all day long, and the bomb goes down. They find all the kills needed to get the plant, but didn't have enough time. It's just that one kill from the one and done position with the AK-47. Dropped the bomb in an awkward spot. Bolts grabs it, but like we said before in the previous map, unless it reads 4 at the top on the clock, it can't go down. And unfortunately for MIBR, that was theirs, and they've given it up. But they keep their money strong, and you can see North have lost the AWP now. They're going to have MSL on the MP7 with 4 rifles. A lot of reset potential here. It's not the worst loss they could have encountered. MIBR, they can definitely bounce back straight away.
So drops out of the window. MP7 in hand. Volda, meanwhile, swinging around to the boards, is going to try and spot down into construction. No such luck as of yet. MSL does confirm, in fact, that Bolts is there by peeking out from sandbags, but doesn't overstay his welcome. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Cold Zero does find Ward Monster, I think it was. A kill onto AZ. I'll just double check and make sure that was indeed Monster, because it could have been over the top of the wall on a jump. No, that was Monster indeed. So with that, they'll rest for a moment with the one-man advantage and 50 seconds to work with.
Indeed. Don't really have to do too much at this point. They started 3 smokes, flashbangs, and you see the reactions starting to come through from the CTs. Kiabi's pushing now in toward the bathrooms. He's trying to get a bit of intel here, look towards the connector, but it's going to be Valda. Gets the first kill for the CTs. That's Cold Zero going down a Monster. And now the kills back and forth as Fallen will find a very valuable frag towards B. As MIBR completely run over the site, there's just Mertz waiting there. He is in the right position. He could deny the plant again, but no. Fallen denies absolutely everything. That's a huge reset for North now. They are in double eco territory. Might as well force by here.
Great start. Interesting round as well, because Cold actually found the kill. I said at Monster, he actually pushed all the way through and got the kill behind barrels, so he was essentially making contact with the site. That's the important entry to find. They didn't have enough information to sandbag, so they fell back, and when Valda got the return frag onto him, I thought, they might have missed the mark and missed their chance to get in the site, but you said it, they ran over them on the way through.
So, didn't go for the force, but they did get the upgraded pistols. Vada with some armor. He's at $600. Up against the 5 AKs and fully equips. Brazilian squad. Going to see Stewie now. Just Molotoving the close quarter angles. Nades go through as well. That lands on the feet of 2 CTs. The Molotov goes in as well. Very efficient stuff here from MIBR. Mertz will go down. MSL not far from it. Puts himself in one of those positions that he hopes will trick the opposition. Fallen and Bolts. Bolts presumably gets this kill. Great shot from MSL.
That was a headshot? My God, that was quick. It's a tough angle to play on that little ledge.
Yep.
With a rifle, I'd guarantee it a kill. If they walk into it and you're standing there, you could spray directly down onto them. But with a deagle, that's quite impressive. Fur, meanwhile, will back off toward the stairs. Doesn't want to flirt with anyone inside of the bathrooms this time. There is 2 players there. Crossfire set with Volda and Kiabi. And they'll find a welcome entrance to be in the fact that with that crossfire and AZ at long, there's no one home, so they'll get the round 5-1. Going to be the score for MIBR. Have to somewhat consider where Bolts went down and perhaps get that gun out of the stairwell if they've not already.
So it's the CT side today map. On maps where we would say it's a CT-sided affair, that both teams have looked pretty underwhelming on. North.
They have thrown the gun away. It's on top of the entrance.
So North struggled on the CT side of Mirage, got through by the skin of their teeth, 16-14 after having a 13-3 lead. MIBR obviously lost 12-3 in that first half on their CT side, so seems like this is the place to be. T side as MIBR. Haven't focused too much on the AWP on the T sides today. Just 5 AKs going around, getting it done, as Fur continues to find impressive numbers here. Double digits for him already. After 6 rounds, he'll have 10 and 2. The top of North will be Kiabi with 5, At the bottom is Valda with 0, unfortunately for him. Bottom of MIBR is Stewie with 3 and 3. Money, as you can see, still not in a promising position for the North squad. They'll have to take another eco here. Has Valda got armor again? He loves spending a bit of cash, doesn't he? He did survive the previous round, so there we go. He didn't spend any extra. So PT50s, USPs, and a save CZ. For needs towards middle, nothing there. And it's going to be another slow default. Nothing really too technical has to come through. Same again. Molotov towards connector. Bounce the grenade. I assume that's what happens now. There it is, grenade. And for... He's like, guys, put your grenades away. I'll just get it done.
Yeah. I got this. Well, he certainly does. Good headshot. Takes over the stairs. Cold, meanwhile, going back through short, has MSL pushing up, but that's spotted by Stewie first. So everything they attempt goes the other way. Bolts, meanwhile, wants to try and clear out the site at range. I was going to say the front of bathrooms, but was gifted that AZ was in the open. Mertz is still behind that doorway. Having Bolts back off means that he's no longer favored with the close range, close proximity of pistol. Manages still to get Bolts as his aggro went elsewhere, and KRB, although went down, helped him in doing so. Fur will swing in behind, another round to MIBR. Massive lead, first time they've had one in this event. Keep in mind the only win so far they've gotten in the best of ones, because they went 0-2 yesterday. They're 0-1 in this series. In the best of ones, they came from behind in that as well.
It's absolutely true. And now we're getting to the point where North are at least stable. They've got some cash. Mertz has the AWP. And there's a timeout as well. So just going to be talking about their options here. This is the first timeout that North have used. 6-1 down, not ideal, but certainly recoverable. Orb still not for Fallen. I feel like he's just like maybe finding more comfort with the AK-47 on the T side. Not looking as flashy or flamboyant as usual. So just wants to play with the squad, keep his head down, use the AK. Posting decent. Now he's second in the scoreboard right now. It's 4 fragged, but still, that's number 2. And we'll see if they can continue their pretty substantial lead into round number 8. Mertz, where does he want to go? He'll be in the bathrooms for now, but he's got no action at all. This is a B push by the MIBR squad. You can see them just going to go for a contact play, or are they going to fully execute? MSL and Valda looking to shut down short.
Fur wants to clear behind the barrels. Stewie goes in. Fur hasn't found that shot, but they smoke off AZ instead, so he couldn't respond, and now he certainly will as he goes up the ramp instead to find his intended target. Go to flight path's an obligation on entry. That's exactly what he was tasked with doing, and he did everything he had to. But watch out, because MSL's behind him. He can't find Fallen in the smoke, so the bomb goes down, but he still gets the kill, and that will divide the defense. Thankfully, Stewie has recognized that and gone aggressive to catch off KRB on rotation. He'll spot up MSL, call that he's close, but Bolts doesn't respond. Fur's low, and he might go down because they're surrounding him completely as they drop out. It's all to Stewie. He manages to bring it back to a one-on-one, and he certainly has the advantage of HP on his side, but MSL is sneaky. That is an ace on a retake on a flank.
That's kind of insane. He's won that round. He's got the defuse in. 5 kills. MSL in a round where it looked like it was all over. They got in towards B. The trades are going successfully for them. MSL from the monster tunnel couldn't deny the plant either. He lets that go down and still finds 4 more kills afterwards. Fantastic stuff by the in-game leader. Had a pretty decent tournament so far. 6-2. It's only the second round North have picked up, and only 1 player survives again. They have to use 3 for masses here. All for Mertz once more. MSL does have that saved in 4. Fallen brings his out, I think, for the first time on the T side. We'll see whether this works out for them. They double smoke these steps there. Was that? I don't think that was by design at all. So it will be Fallen to open things up to take down AZ. He was just playing by the monster tunnel, waiting for any CT aggression there. Certainly got it. AZ peeked towards the monster tunnel with a FAMAS. That didn't really work out for him at all.
So Cold will swing back through short.
CT reaction coming in. They're boosting a player towards short. That's KRB, but he jumps. Oh my goodness, at the worst possible time. MSL won't be getting an ace this round. Just 50 points of damage, that's it. 5 on 3, and they're going to fully commit towards the A side. No one there right now. Mertz desperately trying to rotate in, but there's so many flashbangs heading in his direction. He has beaten the smoke, though. Hits the first shot. Needs to try and stop this bomb going down. If he connected that, there might be a chance, and this is going to be a lot of pressure now. Missed a couple, and his teammates are dropping, but he's still fighting. If he gets this, maybe he saves the day, but it looks like
how many chances
the dream was over. Yeah, indeed.
Oh.
3 on 1. Kiabi at least has some positioning. Gets the bomb. That's not going to be planted anytime soon. 2 on 1.
You're right in that they didn't recover it. The fact that he backs off, I thought Ferb was going to grab it immediately, go to the other side of the box. He's done so now. So they'll still get it down with ample opportunity. Throw knows he's out toward the bathrooms. So too. All right, Kirby, calm down. Does Cold as he snaps over to the stairs, anticipating the arrival of someone, but no one was there. It's Cold now that gets toward the dumpster. He'll play the truck. Lots of coverage in that position, and he can certainly control his fate. As Kirby closes the distance, he can play off any angle that he desires, but Furs got the top of the stairs covered. And we go another round, 7-2 for MIBR.
Another reset as well. And that means when North win the previous round, 1 to their name, 1 player survives, and then they lose the follow-up round, and it means they only get $1,400 per player after being fully invested. So it's another nightmare situation on their map pick. This is on the T side once again. MIBR looking pretty solid. It is going to be a pretty much force buy here. Deagle's armor, MP7, Mertz keeps his money a little bit stronger. Valdi yet to post a frag. He's 0 and 7. And there's the 5-man or 4-man B stack from North. Gonna have 1 player in the form of Mertz holding the bathrooms, but he's the one who's just the USP. So we'll just be playing for intel.
He goes into Mertz, who somehow gets away. No armor. The AK couldn't get the job done, and Fur actually gets dinked down to 47. Eventually, Mertz will go back. Perhaps knowing that the round is unlikely, but also eager that he heard the dink and thought, I'll go for more. Nonetheless, the smoke down front bathrooms will deter Bolts and Fallen from trying to pursue Kjærby's position. Fur still holds up toward the party. Eagle could be a problem for Fur as he sits on 47. So too, the MP7 of MSL. Mr. Ace Clutch himself. Hold at the sandbags, holding and just waiting for his teammates to clear out Monster. They'll all go together. Smoke down doesn't mean that he can spawn anyone towards short, and that gets the CTs much closer and makes it much more uncomfortable as Kjærby finds a second on the Bolt. Cold Zero needs to pull things back into order. He's done that at least by taking out the closest and most immediate threat in Volda, who is on the ramp. Meanwhile, Kjærby back at the window has to sit and watch. And he'll watch a bullet land into his forehead. He goes down 8-2. Bomb was planted after the fact, so that $300 you talked about. The individual doing so. Does Stewie elect to keep the MAC-10?
Might as well. They're going to be eco here again, so it would make sense. 8-2. And Cold Zero getting it done with the AK-47. Kills for him. And it will be the full eco pretty much, as Stewie guess. Very beneficial to keep the MAC-10. Lots of mobility. Melts through an armored opposition. And you farm a bit of cash as well. There we go. Guaranteed kill there. MSL goes down as well. 9-2. Will be happening very shortly indeed. There's to pick up the bomb. Might be a couple of kills here for North, we'll see. 5 on Super now as Cold Zero just checking every single angle. Get a look from Valda as well. Take a little bit of damage there, but a clean sweep. And finally, another buy for North. Feels like it's been a while since they've had weaponry. So they have the AWP modes again. The rifles come out once more. They've got 2 rounds, and neither of them were anywhere near each other. So that's why money's been such a massive problem for them overall. 5 AKs again from MIBR. Mertz had such a great showing on Mirage, on 4 and 11 right now. Hasn't really been able to sink his teeth into the CT half of Overpass.
What's off towards sandbags. rounds to their name. And an arsenal of AKs and full utility. They'll go against what still remains 4 smokes, 1 kit. The AWP of Mertz on the CT side. This is getting to the point of desperation that MIBR found themselves in on the first half, although even perhaps more convincingly because it hasn't been about clutches in so many ways. In fact, one of the only rounds they have won was a clutch from MSL. So through the park, past the fountain, and a trip down memory lane as they take out long A. It's behind the flower pot. Mertz is going to try and bait in Kjærby. He's playing at the park sign. Kjærby waiting with face to the wall to avoid flashes. Will swing when required. In some ways, you'd almost think that Mertz missing the first shot would be better suited because that way they won't check it, but oh my goodness, do they ever. They read it. And rather than getting one and discouraging them, they go right around the corner and find Kjærby for free. Mertz is forced off. Good use of utility to clear the corner. Fallen up close will spot the gun barrel of MSL. He'll take him down quite quickly as well with the headshot as he fell out of place. Mertz, though, wanted more. Nearly wanted a lineup, but won't get it. This could be a clean sweep. AZ's the only one that I can say otherwise, and he's found by Cold.
Well, North don't really seem to have any sort of response here. This is what I was looking for from MIBR on Mirage. We definitely got a glimpse of it on the T side, but I did say the fact that he made that game so close towards the end, it seemed like Fur was starting to get into the swing of things. Cold Zero's having some moments, and Fallen not really opting for the orb. It's working. This looks like a really formidable 5-man unit that is going in together. Good fundamentals, decent smokes, flashbangs in, and as long as they leave themselves enough time to plant, it seems to be working out for them almost every time. Remember, the only real rounds North have got is with an ace from MSL, when it was like, what, a 4-on-2? And then a scrappy round victory in the first gun round when MIBR had SMGs. So it really hasn't gone too well so far. Kjærby, though, looking to turn their luck around. Only good for 1, though, 4-on-3. It's not a force buy, it's just an eco again. 11-2, looking very likely at this point.
Fur knows what's up.
He does.
He's already got those 2 kills when they're behind him in the smoke, and he immediately identified to rush the site, clears it out, spots 1 at long. I expected that I said knows what's up. I thought he was going to swing and just clear out long as well, knowing that there was a potential stack. He's not. He's gone to the back stairs, so they don't know that MSL's still in the bathrooms. That could catch them out, potentially, if he could find the bomb. So far, he's not. Stewie's gone by. He's heard it, but won't be able to do much about it. Well around the corner by the time he arrives now. They won't expect him to come from this angle. That could be something in itself as Valda. Okay, that's it. That's exactly what I meant. Finds a chance to get the shot from behind. He's picked up an AK, but Bolt puts him back down. The fact that he's so segregated from his teammate, however, means that MSL has a chance on it, but tries to overthink it perhaps as he gets a Molotov out, taps the bomb. Fur's already in position. 11-2.
11-2. Another eco slipping by for North there. Round 14, and they've got 2 chances left to make this half even competitive. This is their pick, and sorry, I should say it's MIBR's pick. And you can see why their T-side looks pretty impressive so far. Nothing really gone wrong at all, apart from a missed timing on one of the plants. Should be taking us to Inferno, which I feel like will be a great map. The first 2 haven't been that fun. It's been landslide halves going up against each other. And Inferno, where both of these teams feel quite comfortable on, it's actually SK's pretty much main pick right now.
Didn't see them boosted up. It is their main pick for MIBR, Henry.
Yes.
The shot caller still needed.
Indeed, but North looks fantastic on it as well. Their
definitely.
CT nades and stuff that have come through, and their kind of innovations that look very, very interesting. So I think that's where we'll be treated to some really exciting CS. This seems like it's just what is going through the formalities now for MIBR to finish things off. But we'll see if they can get 11-4. We have seen these halves crumble like we did on Mirage. It can go horribly wrong quite quickly. But let's see if North can even post 1 more here. Another 5-on-5 for now, 1 minute 20 remaining. All power for Fallen this time. Same story for Mertz, but he still is on 4 kills and 13 deaths. Valda, no wonder they're getting so wrecked. He's 1 for 11, so he isn't really contributing that much at all. MLBL just seem to have his number every single time. They've been eco like 5 or 6 times so far. Haven't had any luck in the clutches, really, as they'll flash over and get a player boosted up here.
Stewie's back through. So far as Volta still plays ramp, he'll support AZ's position because he can cover off short. AZ can see above and down toward Monster. Good find from Stewie though over toward A means there will be no Monster this round. Nothing under the bed. MSL wants to pull back through though and catch out Stewie. Good find. And he knows now it was a fake toward A because they went forward through utility and backed off. So subsequently, there's a bunch of utility deployed by the CTs to slow down any potential take toward the B site. With 18 seconds, slowing down is key. Fur has worked in straight contact. Monster Volta nearly had a lineup, but falling. Good response. Problem is they've lost the bomb. 11 seconds as AZ finds both remaining kills.
There we go. North with their first convincing round of the half. 11-3. No reset potential here. We're going into the final round. MIBR have a very slow D for the start. AWP fallen. Not as impactful as the AK was. It's AZ detecting the boost behind the sandbags. Into the shots, decent crossfires. Valda gets his second kill of the half as well. So let's see if he can turn his game around in a second. If he can get 11-4, it's definitely still possible. Looks like a 5-man B push here as Fur looks to go for a contact play in the monster tunnel, waiting for the initial grenades to go through. Is that their cue? Cold Zero is actually going to lead the charge here. Valda and AZ to defend again. They did so well before, but here come the Molotovs. And AZ will go down with just one. Valda, 2 frags to his name. If you can find a couple more here, that would be fantastic.
Push through the smoke. Valda, good timing. He's gotten 2, even though he's blinded. And he can get back inside of that smoke to allow and enable time to restore the vision as Stewie suddenly finds himself in a 1v4 and about to be 11-4 as they line him up, take him down, and North showing a little bit of life, perhaps too late, but life nonetheless. As MIBR won the pistol to start off this, that's their only pistol in this series, remember. We'll see if that can be countered by North yet again, and if they do, perhaps we've got something in the second half.
Absolutely so. Well, there we go, 11-4. The last 2 rounds do go in favor of North. It always seems to be the case. When teams start to run away with games, they start changing things up right towards the end and can squeeze a couple more rounds in. So this isn't impossible now. They especially win the pistol. North are a tactical team. They love an execution. We'll see whether this pistol will be kind to them. They've got something up their sleeve though. North with 2 P250s, 2 smokes, 2 flashbangs. All of that between Mertz and MSL. KRB yet to buy. What's he going to go for? Goes for the armor. There it is. Diffuse kit for Fallen and the smoke. Most teams do favor the B-bomb side of pistols. We'll see whether these guys are that way inclined. Looks like Marcel wants to challenge mid at the very start. He's got the PT-50, he's got the range to go toe-to-toe with this particular weapon. Gonna take a bit of damage, but only in the chest, so he's fine for now. And we'll be actually pushing for the kill. Boost for Cold Zero as he watches the connector door. They seem to be somewhat aware.
Jumping across the bottom of the stairs just to confirm that no one's waiting around the corner. That'll further fortify their fixation upon the door. Bolts and Cold. One on short, one on Monster. So they want to hold off B, and Cold's already forced back. That'll start the rotation. Fallen and Stewie trying to get there as quickly as they can. Good early damage. MSL's tagged down to 5 HP, but he's still up, and that puts them in near the site. Smoke off to the left. The bolts, that's going to give him more space to work with. A good find from Fallen to get there in time. He's gotten 3. Cammy tries to do what he can. Fallen gets 4, having arrived late, seemingly late on the rotation. It's 12 for MIBR.
Well, there we go. North with the 2 smokes, the flashbangs, default at the start, trying to push back any sort of information hunting CTs towards middle and long. They did that, didn't find the frag. Executing towards B, 1 smoke on the site, 1 towards heaven. Flash over together, but MIBR is way too strong. He sees great positioning. Crossfire coming in from Stewie, Fallen, and indeed Bolts. Fallen is hitting absolutely everything though. Great stuff by him. That's his 12th frag as deferred at the very top of 22 kills. What a half he's having, or game I should say. And looks to increase his total. He has been known in the past to be a very aggressive overpass player. Loves to push middle, loves to get in that playground. See what's going on. He's only good for if they did damage this time, goes down without the frag. That means Mert's going to cover the MP9. Kiabi won't be able to join him though, as he'll be dropped by bolts. 4 versus 3. Mert and MSL are low. Varda's not. He's got the armor and the deagle. Can he make anything happen with it?
To work with. Bomb still out toward long. MSL has it, as we can see from his perspective now. Spot fallen. Deagle doesn't land. He certainly tempts fate by jumping back up again. But he wants to locate his opponent and try and get a shot in return. Spams one toward the door, but no such luck in finding damage. Stewie out toward the water is pretty much confirmed that they're not going out toward B. They could potentially get toward Monster at this point, but they'll take their chances with the contact that's been made in front of A, that they're still going to be there, and rightfully so, as Cold finds 2. MSL does get fallen down. He'll lose the scout, which will then be recovered by Cold, and just 3 rounds to go, and we've got a 1-1 series.
Indeed we do. MIBR up against the full eco now of North. It will be 14-4. I'm looking forward to Inferno map. That's where my head's at right now. It feels like North don't really have anything to offer here. I don't think they have a chance to even show us how deep the strap book can go on the T side. If they'd won the pistol, maybe there's a chance that if they won the second round force by, sure, I could start believing, but now it's a 3-0 as well. 14-4 and their first buy is going to be limited with no plans going down. I would say we all know where this one's going, and that's fine by me. I think Inferno will be very entertaining. But either way, we'll see if they can get anything done here. Valda holding up with the clocks. I guess they're sort of using this as a timeout themselves. They know how aggressive Fer can be. He'll be overwhelmed. He doesn't get anything. They were just waiting for Fer to push, trying to bait him in.
And it worked.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta hate when you're predictable. Alda does manage one more, but the push on the opposing side of the map will pay off. Cold with 3 to shut them down in the end and make it now 2 to go for MIBR. But here comes the guns. We've got AKs across the board, 5 of them brought out already immediately by North. Haven't seen as much from Mertz this game, and mostly due to the fact that he's not at the AWP, but that said, he's still on just 4 kills. MSL leads the way in 14. Remember, he did have that ace 5 in a single round. That's obviously what an ace implies, although Anders sometimes might have suggested otherwise.
So do or die time now. North, you're going to need at least 10 rounds in a row. We'll see what happens there. Kiabi, that's more like it. Fast through the smoke as well. First few kills coming in favor of North here. It's only bolts left on the B side, but he's still gunning them down. If he gets 3, this is going to be such a disappointing round for North, but there it is. That's the kill that probably decides it all. 3 versus 1 now. Fer has been playing out of his mind so far, 22 kills. He has got a small chance of winning this one. He's up towards heaven right now, but they have got smoke, and indeed, there it is. He'll have to rotate now. Molotov in that position. That'll allow them to plant the bomb. So a nice, fast approach there for North. Gonna need a lot more where that came from. This round pretty much in the bag at this point.
For towards sandbags, Valda is going to get forced off by a Molotov. So bomb down, good recovery of a round from North. Drag this out a bit longer. Remember, we said the same on Mirage, that we thought, they're just getting a few rounds, it's fine. And they managed to pull it all the way back to 16-14. It took 30 rounds for North to close it. So I won't rule out the fact that they could do the same to MIBR. But the signs are pointing the other way, and the fact that there wasn't clutches going against MIBR, they've been pretty much in control the whole time, pretty dominant in doing so. Look very composed thus far. CT sides have been the issue, though. We will keep that in mind. So AKs again, as they obviously won the round. MSL, I think there's one on the ground.
Well then, nice stuff from North. First of many required. We'll see the partial investment here from MIBR. I don't want to dump all their cash in this one. They don't need to win the round. Very similar scenes to Mirage, just the roles have been reversed. So both teams with massive first half on their own picks on the T side. Fur boosted up in the bathrooms now, just looking to get a cheeky kill drop off. We've got 2 scouts and a couple of pistols to go with him. Are the flames going to touch them? They look like, oh yes they are.
Yep. Easy. He just took substantial damage, I think, from Fallen's scout, who was actually pushed all the way up past Monster and looking toward the spawn. So gets early damage and gets away. That's very beneficial, as now he tags up MSL through the tin walls at lower mid. This is a good start for that scout, because now he's put them well into a range susceptible of falling to pistols, and the boost goes back out for Fur, and they find MSL collecting off of that early scout shot. Very well done to get the early damage and now the man advantage. Problem is they won't be able to get a gun. It is well and truly behind the smoke and into a dangerous territory they don't need to investigate. Certainly wouldn't want to. Again, they'll boost Fur, however, park sign this time. Off it, but they won't give up on the boost that easily. Coach is down this time. He's looking away, realizes that was a smoke and not a flash. Volda's got it. On the angle, AKs doubling up as MIBR struggle to hold on to the site despite that start. There's so much damage done, but they can't find the rest. Volda, no, I think we've got a problem. I don't know what we can do on this. Volda's not moving.
Yes, indeed. Crashed with bomb.
Yes.
I was looking at his body. I was like, what? Why is he not moving?
They say we lagged out as well. Technical timeout. The problem was that was called so late in the round and there was already a significant amount of damage done. I'm lagged out. Stewie also lags out, but I'm going to suggest something that you might not think of, because they might have realized after the fact that he was lagged out, because he was close to the site and everyone else would have been clearing corners and not been able to. If that ever happens and you have time to recognize it, just kill your teammate and take the bomb if you have to. But I don't think they would have had time there to do so, because they expected him to plant. He only lagged out within about 10 seconds of when that call was made. This is certainly going to be an issue, because that puts MIBR on the map point. It just happened so late.
Oof, this is a nightmare, this one. Because technically the rulebook says it's not going to be replayed, right? That's what it should be. But I think this is one of those calls where probably BSL gets involved and has to say, like, okay, this one.
It's tough because, yeah, according to the rules, MIBR could argue that, sorry, we had the round. But did they? Because they had AKs running over the site rampantly and clearly had made room and time to plant.
Yeah, indeed. I think you just have to use your best judgment on this one. The rulebook, like, it's not going to have every scenario in there, and this one was a guaranteed round for North, and obviously that happening, in my opinion, it has to be replayed. But
I did see that Fallen typed, well, I don't know if I should say it or not, because then I'll just throw speculation out. He suggested they could play in a 5 versus 4 same buys and do it from there, because they had a kill. And they'll play it out 5 versus 4 to try and make it as even as it was. That would be making an exception, but the admins are at the discretion of doing so, I suppose. If both teams could come to an agreement on that, I don't know where you go on this one. This is a tough one, because usually if there's already kill done and you're late in the round, it's pretty obvious who's going to win it and it doesn't affect it. This time it actually does, because despite that the early damage was significant, MIBR was on a force buy, but the bomb was absolutely, if Valda didn't get lag out, was going to go down.
so I'm just reading the server chatter going on, trying to get an inkling as to where it looks like it's going to be going. There is a bit of discrepancy in terms of what each team interpreted the situation to be. Some are saying the MIBR players crashed first, and then some are saying North crashed first, and...
You're right. So the discussion between them is as follows. Fallen has stated it, as we said, and the rules do state, it technically should count because there was a kill in the round and it was over the 1 minute mark. Both of those things had happened. Volda said, however, if you want to start at a 5 versus 4, that doesn't work because he got a kill before he lagged out, but first says, I was lagging out as you killed me. So does that negate the other? I mean, again, they're throwing around ideas. It ultimately comes to the admins. It doesn't,
yeah, the thing is, you can't just take everyone's thing as, oh, that's 100% the truth. You have to actually watch the demo at this point and say, right, what actually happened here? So now they've just agreed we're just going to wait for the admins and we're going to restore the round and play 5 as per the rulebook. So we're just going to do a 5-on-5, just restart that round. That's it.
They are going to restart the round.
Yes.
Interesting.
And he said, as per the rulebook. So I guess I've looked at all the variables.
Admins say give them a few more minutes. They're looking into the issue. I think what Fallen meant was no discussion. We play it as the rules. The rules would say the round counts. So to replay the round would be an interesting thought. With that, we could be in a few minutes because they've got to look at pretty much, I think, every POV in this instance and figure out who is where and under what circumstance. I know the Fallen's already run off to the bathroom. Looks like Bolts has as well. Would you like to go, Henry?
I'm good for now. The water we've got hasn't been too delicious, so I haven't been drinking it, so I'm fine.
You know, I used to say water was like the baseline for tastelessness. This water, yeah, it tastes like mouthwash. It's not great.
Yeah, the Germans haven't nailed whatever this brand of.
Yeah,
this one.
I'm not gonna put that on all of Germany. I'm gonna put that on that particular brand.
Indeed. Either way, so let's just wrap up what's happening so far. I'm not sure if we'll go to a break. We'll see how long this will take. Either way, we're in the second map right now. This is MIBR's pick. They got blown out the water on Mirage, but pulled it back to a respectable scoreline in the end. We're now here on Overpass, where it feels like it is going to be MIBR just winning at this point, like even without this round happening. They're looking too fired up. They're looking too comfortable here. They did just get map point to take us to Inferno, but we had a crash discrepancy, and it seems like we'll replay the previous round. Number 20, we played again as a 5-on-5, no compromises. SK did offer to do a 5 versus 4 in their favor, I believe, but they're just saying they want to do a 5-on-5 now, so they're just going to replay as is and forget that round ever happened, essentially.
Well, they may not, and then this is where the admins, as I say, Fallen said no discussion because they couldn't agree on it. We'll go by the rules. The rules could state that that round counts. So
I think that's why he did say that. You know, it's like, well, if you're not going to give us that side
if
advantage,
you're not going to play ball, then we're just going to say stick to the rules. He made them an offer. They didn't agree to it because Volda was trying to say, no, I got to kill. First said, well, I was lagged out also. So they have to go. Fallen said, right, if we can't agree, we go to the rules. Rules would say that counts, but the admins are looking into everything. And with that, we're going to go to a break because they're going to take some time to do so. Pull the server config down and look at every POV. This could take some time. We hope to be back with you shortly, but we'll see you in a minute.
ESL One Cologne.
Incendiary out.
Did I seriously get that dude in smoke?
Yo.
Oh my.
Game, record, and stream without compromise. An Intel Core i7.
No matter what your passion is, soccer, rugby, racing, or esports, become a part of the experience with the moments we deliver. Red Bull gives you wings.
One city, one stage, one trophy.
And another kill to find Fallen.
One moment. ESL One New York 2018.
Well, we're back, and I can tell you that inside of the server, it reads as 5-14, not 15. Therefore, we're going to replay the round.
We are indeed. Everything stands as it was. 5-on-5, round number 20 to be replayed, and we are underway. So it's the scout for Stewie, an M4 for Fur, PT50, Deagle, and we're into the round. So it was a small lag issue, which has been resolved now. It was a little bit problematic when kills happen. And we have to resort to the rulebook, but there we go. Good stuff by Fur. Boosted up. Gets that first kill. Cold Zera. Can't get the follow-up frag. So still a 4-on-4 for now.
Swinging back in. It's MSL to find Fur, though. Fallen still on the top of the ramp. Could catch off MSL if he were able to swing out, but he's being watched by Mertz. A flash to allow him to do so, but then MSL identified immediately what that flash meant and caught him out. So if there was a dispute over the last round and the bomb not being planted, it is this time. And 14-6 looking likely as Boltz is inside of jungle.
Indeed it is. Bomb planted this time, and it will be Boltz to just hold up towards Graffiti, see whether he can get anything done here. Maybe steal an AK away. No real reason to go pushing towards his position, though. He hasn't got a kit. He's looking still. Oh, there's the M4 in front of him. That's what he wants to try and get. Not going to happen, though. Taken down. Mert's aware of it. And they will have 3 players survive it. 14-6. So technical timeout. It's just going to be Fallen who's got a problem with the game. He's just got to restart it. I'm sure that'll be very quick indeed. He just said it had a HUD issue, which is normally just to restart the game. And we'll see whether he's back in quickly. But looking at the money, it looks like they've got enough for a buy now MIBR. It's about $4,500 per player. Like we said, third map will be Inferno, which is looking likely at this point.
A little bit of banter back and forth that I'm not sure is friendly. But either way, we're going to continue this one on. Get things resolved pretty quickly and then get underway as North sits with an AWP on the T side in the hands of Mertz. backs off to the party and all the way back into the bathroom as well. Part of the fact that they didn't feel confident in their control that far forward with no information. They'll leave Volta down below on the north side. He'll cover off the underpass, see if there's any aggression there. So very patient so far from North. Very passive so far from MIBR.
There we go then. Mertz, very quiet game from us so far. Still hovering around 6 kills. Do they have anything left in the tank to get this one even a little bit closer? Less than a minute remaining. You see this long setup coming in from MIBR. Fur with Fallen. Flashbang decent. Shot not so much from Fur. Couldn't finish it off with an H. He didn't have one. And it looks like they're going to try and take him down as he reloads. Normally a one and done spot, and this one is no different. 4 and 4 now, as we'll see. AZ making his way back towards B, leading the charge. 20 seconds remaining, and Stewie waiting the other side. Can't find the shot, though. AZ certainly can, and coldzera flames around him, but time really ticking down now. If you can find a couple of kills, that might be enough. Bomb dropped.
Bolts holding off of the ramp, will swing back out. Has just enough to fire at to deny the bomb plant with 6 seconds. That could do it on its own, and Mertz becomes aware of that a little bit too late. He stepped into the site and then realized he was better off to run away with the AWP. He cannot. It's map point for MIBR.
It is 15-6 now. Money's still okay for North, not ideal. But we'll have a couple of compromises here. AZ with the Desert Eagle. They went in towards B. They managed to get efficient kills to begin with, but then Bolts, he knew the time was low, waited the last possible second to deny the plant. You can see the head of the Planted Terror just peeking out past the pillar. Taken down. That was the round at that point. He actually gets all 3 kills. So 2 pistols, 3 AKs for what could be the final round here. coldzera only with the CZ, so that money's hardly ideal. Lots of flashes working out. Fur's absolutely done for. And his teammates will have to fall back as well. Can't really recover the frags just yet. coldzera with CZ falling on 16 HP. I'm a bit confused there. There's 2 bolts right now on the GUR. It's like, am I getting mad?
Don't be misled.
It's Fallen who's missing.
It happened at the start as well.
So Fallen is alive with an AWP, 15 HP, and he's currently positioned by the A-bomb site. B is actually open. This is a perfect call from North. This might just be a save call once they plant like this.
AZ jumps down to the water. Smoke out to the window. Get the Deagle ready. Bomb on the site, going for the plant. You're right. HP as it is, you might elect to just save it with the 3 AKs, having already achieved the bomb plant, and they will. They're going to try to save it. Now, I say try. The reason I say that is KRB's positioning is actually solid. He could catch them off out toward long. He certainly could hear one working down in that direction, so positions accordingly. Does he spot Stewie, though? Front side of bathrooms. Okay, my mistake. X-ray made me believe that he was actually in the bathrooms. He's out in front of them, so couldn't be spotted. Either way, we have a 15-7 score. And there goes the AWP. Smoked off as well. Good find from Holmes. They'll be able to recover it. Stewie gets MSL trying to chase them down and capitalize on the fact that they were scurrying in that battle against KRB. But the round nonetheless gone the way of North.
Well, there it is. They live to fight another day. Found that open B bomb site. Contact play towards Monster. It's coldzera about a rifle, just the pistol was pushed off short. Took a bit of a gamble, hoping to upgrade to an AK. Like I said, as soon as they had B, that was pretty much it. Couldn't really do much about it. They do have another AWP here. MP9 for Fur. coldzera back on the CZ. And a straight up B rush going in, but they're going to run through flames. Damage inflicted, but no frags found for the CZ just yet. Oh my goodness, what a brawl this is. As Stewie rotates in. He's still got a slight chance here. He's the last player remaining, but trust me, he can do something with this. 3 versus 1. Bomb goes down. This would have to be an ace finish. He's done it before. Over in Belo Horizonte, she managed to have the 6K finish on Dust 2. But close but no cigar that time. Gets flanked from Monster. 3 kills, not enough. There's going to be another eco now for MIBR. They'll have to just wait to close this one out. It's now 7 rounds in a row for North to take us to overtime. It's got to grind each round out. Like we said, it's the CT sides that have been rather troublesome for both of these teams today.
Yeah, it certainly has been. Disorganization perhaps in this roster still on the MIBR side of things. North, meanwhile, has been on a downward spiral for so long that eventually they have to bounce back. It seems this event we've seen some signs that they are, but obvious issues on this map. Not their map choice, but it's not exactly like everyone was confident on the panel that this was really a great map choice by MIBR either. Words will recover the bomb. That was left there on purpose. They've made a lot of noise, jumping around. 2 players there. Why, MSL jumping around? Has no chance or no defense for that. And they'll get an AK as a result of it and run back to the site.
It's fair on the AK. 25 kills so far. Player like him, that's all he needs. Maybe this could be the end. 5 versus 4 for now. They're going to use a contact play again. Contact players, when you just group up as a team, walk with no signs of your attack whatsoever. Going silently, no grenades, just having your guns out, and you're going to try and commit to the site as soon as you get contact. That's why it's called that. And you can see that now they have been discovered. They're at a run, and bolts will be absolutely dealt with here. Volda will take him down. 4 versus 3, and might just save the AK now.
Shot from Volda. Takes down Cold, holding off high above. Another round on the north side of things. You said it in the last map, Henry, that you start to consider the comeback possible when they reach double digits. They're now 1 round shy of doing so. Fortunately, MIBR is already on 15 in this case, unlike North in the last map where they were halted on 14 for a period of time as Kirby gets Stewie. But again, it's the CT side that's struggling to close things out.
Pretty convincing stuff towards the end. Looking for double digits now. North now with 9. Orb comes out for Fallen once more. Another chance to finish this game off. As the pause comes through. This will be called by MIBR. It's actually their first pause. They've had a very successful campaign on Overpass so far. Their coach, Ricardo, or Dead, he doesn't really seem to have the same sort of impact as other coaches, I would say. He's not there like calling over Fallen to giving him ideas. I think he'll probably help out the analysis sort of side and watch the demos and contribute, but he won't be, let's find a good example, he won't be like a Zonic, won't be like the overarching force of the team and making sure everything's cool. I've got a Zeus for Liquid, for example. I think he's just more of assistance to Fallen, if anything. So looking to take us to Inferno. As I said it before, that's where I think we'll get a really good game. These landslide halves don't really do it for me too often. Like a 13-2, 12-3, it's not like a good game. If it comes back to a 16-14, it's like, well, that was 2 quite boring halves overall.
For with that deep incendiary that lands on the stairs, it's always clever. That allows him to go for the peak more confidently.
Which he likes to do.
He loves to do that. Remember the first time, it seems so obvious now, but the first time we saw that, we were like, whoa, why is that not more common?
Just pushing every round, getting up in their faces. Molotov on the T-steps.
Doesn't get anything from it, however, and with it now extinguished, can't confidently hold the angle. He could stay aggressive, but he's elected not to. This time goes to the bathroom, so it's ultimately just bought a little time, if anything.
I think he's made such a name for himself of pushing towards middle that it doesn't seem to work as much as it did. And it's understandable, right? If you're very good at something, people are just going to counter it eventually. Fallen, they all get the first pick, though. Takes down Mertz as they flash and jump around the corner. First hit players on the other side. And he's going to get both of these, surely. He's got Valdo on the other side, but nice work by AZ for the pincer. CT still have the advantage here, but Cold's error is low. And
that's where Rain and Fur, I think, are the 2 best players, is in those bathrooms. Yes. So when I saw him in that position, I was thinking, oh, this could be incredible.
Good play by Stewie, though. He's actually stopping the transition towards B. But they've got the bomb and T-spawn heading towards Monster.
He's made. Shot nearly didn't land. He's gone low on ammo, but still makes do and finds Valda. It's now a 4 versus 1. Kirby to try and keep the dream of coming back alive, or MIBR to force out map 3. It'll be Inferno. And that looks most likely, given the circumstances. Stewie does it through the wall. 16-9 in the end. Slight delay getting there, but it's all for naught. And you can like or dislike the admin decision. It makes no difference at the end of the day.
I don't think it made any difference overall. It felt like that's MIBR's map all day long. That one round wasn't going to change anything. I think it's just a drop in the ocean at this point. But Matt, we are going to go to Inferno. This is where Counter-Strike will be realized properly for the first time today. It's been quite two dull maps so far. I think Inferno is a great middle ground for both of them. We're going to see some great executions, lots of aggression, and hopefully some world-class AWPing as well.
Well, with that, we'll go straight to the admins as we get ready for map 3. Inferno it is. We'll see you in a minute.
Freudian slip there. We all know the admins don't decide anything around here.
That's us.
They have nothing to say.
Yes, we're going to be hanging out and breaking this one down, and you'll be back for Inferno with your casters once we've got